Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be checking out this, the Aimibo wireless HD video transmitter and receiver. So Aimibo reached out to me and asked if I would do a review on their product, and I said, you know what, I've always been curious about these wireless HDMI things, and I've seen videos of reviews for something similar to this on Tested, and a whole bunch of other people have done videos, I'm sure, but the one I remember most is from Tested. You know, they use them for like video stuff, and I was like, that could be cool. I could like connect this to this camera here and have like a remote monitor anywhere, but make it like huge. So I could hook up this monitor here and have that be my screen for my camera, so I can be like, yes, I'm definitely in focus. This is our first things we see here. We have a TX and an RX. TX is transmit, RX for receive. It is a standard HDMI plug on either end. We got this little thing that comes up. I'm assuming this is an antenna if you need more range. Both of them have that, as well as a button. And then, I love to see this, we have USB-C charging ports. Not micro USB, USB-C. So that's good to see. We got modern charging options. Let's see what else comes here in the box. We got a user's manual. And another box with cables. So first cable we see here is a flat ribbon style cable that is HDMI in and HDMI out. So that's basically an extension cable. Then we have two USB-C to USB charging cables, so that can run power to these guys. And that's it. And this is everything that comes in the box. We have our transmitter receivers, the charging cables, and the HDMI extension cord. I'm gonna do a quick glance over this manual here, and we'll see how quick or easy it is to connect just something simple like my computer here to my monitor here. It looks pretty simple. It says that all you should have to do is plug in these, make sure you have power running to it, and it should just work. So let's go ahead and test it out. Starting on our monitor here, we'll just go ahead and take our, make sure I got the right one, receiver one, RX, and plug it in. And unfortunately my monitor doesn't have a USB port on it, so we're just going to go ahead and take an extra USB-C cable that I do have on hand, plug it in here, there we go, and then we'll take the transmitter and connect that to the back of our computer. While I can fit it in here like this, you can see it's upside down, the transmitter's pointing down, and I can't even see the light or the button to tell what's going on, and you do need to be able to see this here. There is a LED in there that will indicate what's going on, and you can tap that to change between modes, whether it's connected, disconnected, things like that. So on this one, we're going to use our included HDMI cable here. There we go. And we'll just run an extra USB-C cable I have over here to it. All right, and it's all connected. So let's go ahead and show you what you're going to see though. Just push the power button on the transmitter, and you can see here, click to start. So on the receiving end, if I press and hold this one, it'll start flashing and say connecting, and then you can then push the button on your sending one, and it connected. Alright, so first impressions, I can definitely tell there is like a little bit of lag in the mouse, but as soon as it's moving, it's totally usable. Like, I went right over to where I wanted, clicking on what I wanted. Image quality is fine. It's definitely not the 4K that I'm used to on this screen. And so things like this Sony, like the words here, are a little bit pixelated and a little fuzzy, harder to read, but you can still read it if you look at it. While the image quality is actually decent, I wouldn't say this is bad. This is 1080 at 60 hertz. Oh, and the audio.
One thing that we did learn in the setup process is you actually have to set up these cameras.
Audio's fine. Audio sounds just fine. There is a little bit of an artifact like around things like this play button, play pause button here in the center of my screen, as well as like around the numbers. Anything that's like still, it looks really good. but anything that's got details around it, it tends to, I don't know, look almost pixelated. Well, I have all this set up. Let's swap this out from the Wi-Fi HDMI to like a regular HDMI cable. I'm used to using a display cable. It's like 4K 60, where this is 1080 60. Let's switch over to like a regular HDMI cable, see how much of a difference it is, or if it isn't. So there's an obvious difference here. A regular HDMI is definitely better. The text is more crisper, easier to read. There isn't that pixelation. The next thing that was really interesting about this guy, this advertises 50 meters or 165 feet of range. That's line of sight, clear range, but 165 feet. So I think we should put that to the test. See if we can watch a movie from 150 feet away, 165 feet away. Can you? That seems pretty crazy, but we're gonna try it. All right, you guys, so we have come to my local football field, and we're gonna go ahead and see how much range we can get out of this guy. I got 300 feet, 100 yards. We're gonna go ahead and test this out and see what the real limits of this are in a line of sight scenario. So we're starting right here at the 5-yard line, or 15 feet away. No issues yet. Okay, 10. No issues yet. I can't tell the difference. 15-yard line. Any difference? I'm not seeing any lagging. The screens look pretty well synced. Let's go ahead and at the 15-yard line, that's 30 feet away. Minimize, maximize. It's pretty responsive. Let's go ahead and keep going. 25-yard line. Still nothing. Let's minimize, maximize. I'm starting to notice a little bit of a lag, but I'm not seeing any image quality issues yet. Let's keep going. 30-yard line or 90 feet.
If you want to go ahead and skip the unboxing section and go straight to the installation,
It's still responsive. I'm clicking, no issues. I can see the screen from here, and I'm not seeing any jitteriness from here. Let's keep going. All right, this should be the limit. We're at 55 yards away. This should be the limit, the 165 feet that we should be able to reach with this. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize, maximize. Yeah, I'm seeing no issues. 210 feet away. See how responsive we are here. Minimize, maximize. 210 feet, still responsive. Let's keep going. 210.
And for our safety sallies out there, we're going to go ahead and start by making sure that this is off.
225 feet away. I can see it still playing over there. There's a little bit of delay just like before. The opposing 30-yard line, a little bit of lag, but still pretty responsive. Let's keep going. Are you noticing any audio cutout, any video jitteriness?
And so the wires that are running here are also 100 years old, so they're just wrapped in cloth without colors on them.
All right, I'm now 240 feet away. Go ahead and minimize, maximize. It is still responding all the way from out here at 240 feet away. All right. 255 feet away. Do we still have video? I can still see the video over there. Yeah, it's still responding. And I still hear audio coming from out there. I don't know if it's choppy or not.
So the first thing we're going to do is take apart this.
I'm so impressed. Holy crap, I'm almost the whole football field away. Let's make it the full 100 yards. Why not?
I paid for it, why not use it? And just like our first one we were talking about where we removed two.
Can you see me out here? I am 300 feet away or 100 yards away from you. Holy cow. All right, let's see if I can see it on the test here.
quite a ways away. Yeah, I can still see it's responding. A little lag, maybe a little more lag than I was getting at like 30 yards, but this is negligible for 300 feet away, 100 yards away, and they're still getting a screen to a projector right where the camera is, where you are. 130 feet away, I can't even see the screen that well from here, but I can see it well enough to see that I'm minimizing and maximizing, no problem. Wow. Let's keep going. At this point, I don't know how far away I am, but we're gonna keep going. Okay, this video has to be choppy at this point. I have reached the end of this field. All right, I am now at the fence, at the end of the track field here. See if I can see it here. It's still responding. Holy freaking cow. 450 feet. We are 450 feet away. Holy crap. We're 450 feet away, and then let's go ahead and cut to just the audio and video from over there. How good is it?
You can just use like a
Minimize,
razor,
maximize.
or a regular knife.
I can see the screen minimizing from over here. Holy crap. 450 feet. It's rated for 165. I don't know how good the video quality is at this point. All right, that is impressive. Let me just show you a couple things that I wanted to take note of.
So I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. This is not my first time trying this. I actually tried to do this last night, but I ran out of room. Yeah, I was running from like the end of my driveway to the backyard of my neighbor's house across the street, which was like 200 feet, and we still had connection, and it was still good. So I'm gonna take this and we're gonna see how we did at 450 feet away, or 300 or 150 yards. We did the football field and all the way to the fence beyond the goalpost. Yeah, that is impressive. So one thing I did want to know, I'm going to cut to a little clip from last night because it's a little too bright now to be able to see it. But so looking here, none of that artifact, the pixelization that we were talking about before, none of that. This is looking fantastic. Granted, I got some fuzzy because it's running up on the edge and it's not perfect, but like maybe it was something to do with my screen, because this looks really good. I'm impressed for a wireless thing. You might be able to get away with, if you don't have a 4K TV, you're running 1080p and you want wireless, like check this out. So as you can see, there might be something a little jittery with my computer screen, just processing the video feed from this one. So let's go ahead and pack all this up. We'll go home to the studio and we'll give you a final review of how awesome this guy is. So at about 240 feet away, it started getting a little bit muffled to where you couldn't understand it, but then as I continued moving further away, because out there I couldn't tell that the audio quality had gone bad, I kept going and it cleared up, and it didn't necessarily get to like as good as it was when I was close, but it got better enough that you could definitely still understand what I was saying, which is impressive considering we went all the way out to 450 feet from this projector, and I was still, like, it was still connected, still had a signal. Like, I am blown away by this guy. That's impressive. That is really impressive. That is some redemption. It had a really rough start where, like, it definitely is not as good as a traditional direct connected HDMI cord, but that may have been just my computer monitor not wanting to process the image the way that other things do, because we also we plugged it into my TV at home with my Xbox, and I was able to play Red Dead Redemption on it just fine. Granted, I am not a competitive gamer, so you're not going to go out and win some Call of Duty championship with this little set. However, if you're just having fun, you're just playing some games, you're doing like Nintendo level stuff that's like usually pretty low res, usually at about 30 frames per second kind of stuff, or even if you're just a casual gamer like myself, this would work. You won't complain. Like TV remote, you're not gonna notice a big difference of like, with the mouse, it's like usually an immediate response you're used to expecting. With a TV, you can hit the button on the remote and there's always some sort of a delay, so this delay is not enough to be like, oh my gosh, this is bad or noticeable or anything like that. Like it worked just fine. Plugged it in and it just worked. Next thing I want to mention is you can actually buy additional transceivers, and this one receiving unit can connect to up to 8 transceivers. So if you're in a meeting and you guys are going to be sharing screens from different laptops, everyone can grab one, plug it into their laptop, and then hit their little start button to connect, and then when they're done, they'll turn it off. Next guy will turn theirs on, and it just continues down the line, and you can connect up to 8 separate transmitters. So that's pretty cool that you have that option for like a business meeting or something like that. Another really nice feature that this is going to offer you is no wires. So if you have like a projector mounted up on your ceiling, like an overhead projector projecting onto a screen, your Xbox isn't up there and you don't want to run all those cords all the way around. Plug this guy in, make sure you get a little bit of power, and then plug in your Xbox on the other end or your DVD player or whatever it is, and it'll just send all of the data it needs just like that. This is also going to be good for like TVs that are like wall mounted. I've seen a lot of new homes these days will have like a spot on the wall where they'll have like an electrical outlet and then they'll be able to mount a TV on the wall. But how do you connect your, consoles, your cable TV and whatnot? How do you connect those to the TV without having these wires dangling up and down the wall? Switch it out for one of these guys and you don't have to worry about that at all. Like I know some people will drill a hole in the wall and fish it up through. Eliminate all that, just use a little wireless transmitter here. Again, we already talked about it, but 165 feet of range. We actually got, like, it was still connected at 450 feet. Audio quality was still good at like 250 feet, I think. It's a really, really good setup. The only real big caveat I do have is they do give you one HDMI extension cable, which is nice because these are kind of bulky. I wish it was a little bit thinner. I would have dealt with something longer if it was thinner, but it's not. And so you do need these HDMI extensions, especially if you're plugging it into a laptop. If you have USB cables, you have to have one of these. Otherwise, you're not getting that in there. There's no space. So I wish that there were 2 of these little HDMI extension cables. And lastly, for all of you guys considering this is definitely more expensive than just an HDMI cable. This is, especially considering the range we can get with this guy, you can set it up in the back of like a lecture hall and have somebody, running a laptop to a screen on the front of the lecture hall kind of thing. And so this is a very capable little tool, and don't let the size deceive you because of its power. This guy does come in at $129 on Amazon. That is definitely something to keep in mind, is this isn't cheap, but it's definitely cheaper than other HDMI Wi-Fi products. I have just scratched the surface for this guy on all other things that it can be used for. It's a very useful tool and I can see myself using it again in the future, and I'm sure it can do even more than I've talked about today. So if you have questions about this, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. I try to reply to every one of my comments. I am an Amazon affiliate, so using the link down in the description of this video to go get this guy or anything else does help to support this channel with no additional cost to you. So go ahead and use those links and do your shopping from there. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.